morning, third graders. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend, that you were able to get some rest and to be outside and to enjoy your families and just have a great weekend. So welcome back into our fourth week of distance learning. Today's Read Aloud book is called The Redwoods, and it takes place in the Redwoods in California, which is one of my favorite states. And the reason I chose this book is because as this child is in the subway, he is reading this book, and it transports him to the Redwoods of California, and you'll see that in the illustrations. So I wanted to show it to you. Redwoods by Jason Chin. The coast redwoods are among the oldest trees in the world. Their ancestors lived about 165 million years ago during the Jurassic period. One tree can live for more than 2,000 years, which means there are trees alive today that first sprouted during the Roman Empire. Redwoods have shallow root systems that travel more than 100 feet from the tree. They help the tree stand, and they need all the help they can get because they are the tallest living things on the planet. Redwoods are regularly grow to be more than 200 feet tall. A redwood trunk can be 29 feet in diameter at its base. That is so wide that a tunnel can be cut into it big enough for a car to drive through. Amazingly, such a small tree starts from a seed about the size of a tomato seed. A 1-inch long cone that houses the seed falls to the ground, and if the conditions are right, the tree will sprout. With enough light and water, a redwood sapling can grow fast, up to 2 feet per year. And I love the illustrations here because this is meant to look like a subway station that he's coming up from, because right now he is in a city in a subway, but he's also envisioning what is occurring in the book and imagining it so completely that he feels like he's there. Redwoods also grow from other redwoods. When a tree falls or is cut down, new trees can sprout from big round masses along its trunk called burls. Often, several trees will grow from the burls on one stump. If you see a ring of redwoods in the forest, they probably all sprouted from the same stump. One reason that redwoods are able to live for so long and grow to be so tall is that they are very good at defending themselves. Their wood contains a lot of tannin, a chemical that protects them from fungal infections and insect infestations. Redwoods are also well suited to live through fire. If there is a fire, their extremely thick bark shields them from the heat, just like the heat-resistant tiles on a space shuttle. Their branches don't start until very high up, almost 200 feet in some cases, which also helps protect them from the fire, since most forest fires can't reach their needles. Even if a fire penetrates a redwood's bark, the tree can still live. In some cases, a huge portion of the center of the trunk has been burned out, but the tree keeps on growing. In many ways, fires actually help redwoods by clearing out other plants that would otherwise compete for resources like water and soil. Coast redwoods need a lot of water to grow as tall as they do, and the area in Northern California where they live is perfect. It's a rainforest. The air is cool and damp, and the land is often covered in thick fog. It takes a long time for water to travel all the way from the roots to the top of a redwood, and the fog helps the trees by preventing them from losing moisture to evaporation. In addition, the needles of a redwood can absorb moisture straight from the air. In the summer, when there is much less rainfall, redwoods have an ingenious way of collecting water. They make their own rain. When the fog rolls in, it condenses on the redwood's needles. And whatever moisture isn't absorbed then falls to the ground to be soaked up by the tree's roots. Other plants that live at the base of a redwood tree use this artificial rain as well. So not only do the redwoods water themselves, they water all the plants around them. The branches of a redwood are called the crown or canopy and start very high up in the trunk. To study redwood crowns, scientists have to climb into them, and this is not easy because the trees are so tall. Researchers use a bow and arrow to launch a rope over the branches. When the rope is secure, they can pull themselves up. It is very dangerous work. When the needles fall off of a redwood, they decay and turn to soil, and redwoods are so big that this soil often collects in the trees themselves. Soil that collects in the branches of a tree or in crevices on its trunk provide a home for other plants. Plants that grow on redwoods are called epiphytes. The most common epiphytes found in redwoods are ferns. In one tree, researchers found a mass of ferns weighing more than 1,600 pounds. That's heavier than a full-grown polar bear. Ferns are not the only plants that make their homes in redwoods. Mosses, fungi, bushes, and even trees grow in the redwood canopy. Researchers have found a wide variety of trees high above the ground, including hemlock, spruce, fir, oak, and California bays. In one redwood, researchers found a California bay tree growing out of a knothole over 300 feet from the ground. In addition to plant life, scientists have found many animals living in redwood canopy, including flying squirrels, beetles, earthworms, centipedes, salamanders, and yellow banana slugs. Some animals, like the red tree vole, live there in the treetops and never see the ground. Many birds live in the top of the redwoods, including bald eagles, osprey, and woodpeckers. The marbled murrelet and the northern spotted owl live almost exclusively in the oldest redwood trees and are both endangered species. When a redwood is injured, the tree will often sprout new trunks that look like a miniature version of the tree itself. If a branch is damaged, a new trunk will grow straight up from the damaged branch. But the record for the tallest redwood was broken in the summer of 2006 when researchers discovered Hyperion, a giant coast redwood rising 379 feet from the ground. It's still growing. And there you can also see a flying squirrel, which is another creature found in the redwoods. That's 6 stories taller than the Statue of Liberty and taller than a 30-story building. It's so tall that if it were introduced to a city skyline, it would fit right in. So as you can see in this picture, he's put the book down and then he's got to go. He sees his watch and he grabs his backpack and leaves the book. And another little girl finds the book and then she is off on the same adventure that he just was. So I thought this was a good book because it shows us visually how reading can capture our imagination so much that sometimes we feel like we are wherever the book is talking about, like we are in the world of the book. And that can be a wonderful feeling. And we can also share that feeling with others, the way that the boy left the book behind and the girl came along and had the joy of reading it herself. So my thought is that if you could just leave in the comments below the Read Aloud morning meeting section a book that you've really enjoyed that you'd like to share with others and think that they might like to enjoy. It could be a picture book, it could be a chapter book, it could be fiction, it could be nonfiction, just something you've really enjoyed. All right, third grade, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow at our meet. Bye.